Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited to talk about this incredible group about PostGIS for the web, just a few feet away from where I went to college. Next slide. So why open source? You can keep your data in your own hands, not a third party. You can scale within your own needs, not a third party's need. Next slide. So one of the frequent complaints about open source is that the startup costs can be overwhelming. Crunchy supported open source brings the reliability of a supported solution with the flexibility of open source. Next slide. So what are some of the use cases here for PostGIS and the surrounding PostGIS for the web ecosystem? So this ecosystem basically allows you to build out APIs and interactive apps using PostGIS with minimal overhead. Next slide. One of the things that the PostGIS for the web ecosystem does is it lets you build out user-defined functions into your ecosystem. So this democratizes your ability to write API endpoints, increases flexibility within your own team, and exposes data via REST APIs to other microservices. Next slide. One of the really cool tools we have now at Crunchy Data is called PGPodman, where you can run small container apps and microservices within your database without ever actually having to write any code lying on top of your database. Next slide. So here's a demo to, next slide. Here's a demo of a quick API to locate restaurants near a lat long in under 20 lines of code deployed on PGPodman. This is the config to extract all restaurants contained in OSM into PostGIS. Next slide. So this is a UDF to just find restaurants near a lat long. It's really simple PostGIS. I think there's much more complicated examples on the Crunchy blog that you can find pretty much anywhere and build much more complex things out of. Next slide.
Come closer to the mic.
So one of the coolest parts about PGPodman is that from within Crunchy Bridge, you can run a container microservice from within your database without ever having to set up a config file, a server, or anything else. It's easily plug and play. Next slide. You can feel free to check out the API. So here are the 50 nearest Chinese restaurants near my house. Next slide. You can check out the API yourself if you just point your camera at this QR code. It's pretty minimal, but you can plug and play it here. You can punch in a lat long, and a search string for whatever you're looking for. It'll find whatever you're looking for. This is really minimal, but this took about 20 lines of Postgres code. And I think it's a good example as to what microservices you can build with low-code deployments in PostGIS. Next slide. You can also expose this API via REST, so you can integrate it with other microservices and sort of start to build a whole ecosystem out of PostGIS with really minimal code. Next slide. So Crunchy supported PostGIS reduces startup and management costs. PostGIS has unique capabilities for integrations. Please find Eddie, Adam, Trish, or myself to talk about how we can help your org build out open source solutions with Crunchy supported PostGIS.